Human beings are more than our physical selves. As human beings, we are also soul and spirit. We are also, importantly, what we believe.
Scott Morrison handing down his long-awaited and contentious religious discrimination bill to Parliament.
A Sikh should not be discriminated against because of the turban they wear, nor a Maronite because of the cross around their neck.
The PM rejecting concerns the bill's statements of belief section could see religion weaponised against LGBTIQ+ people, people with disabilities, women and even other people of faith.
The bill draws a clear line against harassment, vilification or intimidation of anyone.
Morrison used the opportunity to rail against so-called cancel culture.
We have to veer away from the artificial, phony conflicts, boycotts, controversies and cancelling created by anonymous and cowardly bots, bigots and bullies.
But if the PM was hoping to use the bill's resurrection to reset after a chaotic week...
The Prime Minister is weak.
What the hell happened?
Shameful!
No such luck.
We have waited too long for an integrity commission.
What is the government so afraid of?
I think we should suspend the standing orders.
Frustrated at the PM prioritising the religious bill over his other election promise of an integrity commission, Liberal MP Bridget Archer defied the government in support of debate on the anti-corruption issue, becoming the 7th member of the government to cross the floor this week.
Is it perfect? Maybe not. Why don't we talk about it?
Today you saw the absolute lioness, Bridget Archer.
Cue chaos. The new speaker struggling to keep up.
The motion is that the question.
If you could state what the question is.
The question is that the. Sorry, one moment. All those that opinion say aye, and this will. Aye. Ayes have it. Noes have it.
Clearly a lot of us are very confused. I'm one of the dumber ones, so I'm really at a loss.
We're all at a loss, Bob. It's been that kind of week.
Liberal MP Dave Sharma had a front row seat as it all unfolded in Canberra today. Dave, firstly, on the religious discrimination bill, you've expressed concerns in the past, but how happy are you with this third draft?
I think it's made a lot of improvements. I think some of the things that I was most troubled with and people in the LGBTIQ community were most troubled with were things like the conscientious objection provisions, the so-called fallow clause. They've been eliminated from the bill. And I think the third draft makes a very good balance, if you like, between protecting people from discrimination because of their faith whilst not allowing them to discriminate against others because of their faith. And that's always a hard balance to strike, but I think this bill does a pretty good job of it.
So how do you think that this will be received in your electorate, given the potential implications that there will be for the LGBTQI+ members of it?
Well, so look, I'm talking to members of that community and representatives in that community on a daily and often hourly basis and hearing some of their concerns. I think they've still got concerns over the legislation. I've also got a pretty sizable minority community in my electorate. A big part of the Jewish community in Sydney is in my electorate, and they're concerned about other elements of the bill. They want to make sure that they can continue to maintain faith-based schools and nursing homes and things like that. And I think, look, I'll have those discussions over the next few days and into next week, and I'm almost certain that this bill will go off to a parliamentary committee and be reviewed and have public hearings. And I think that's a good thing. With something that's this important and, frankly, that is potentially this contentious, you want to make sure that people are heard on it before anything final is done.
On other things, it's been a bit messy, hasn't it? Bridget Archer, the 7th coalition politician by our count to cross the floor this week. Is your government imploding?
No. But I think some of the issues we're dealing with, look, you get to the end of a parliamentary term, you've got some legislation that is contentious or where people have strong views, and we run a party, the Liberal Party, where, people are entitled to, vote for their views. We don't discipline people for crossing the floor. We respect and understand that if people feel strongly about certain issues and they can't support a legislation, that's their right.
This isn't an everyday thing, though, Dave, you know that. I mean, this is a particularly pyrotechnic week, shall we call it. It suggests that there's instability here that isn't normal.
Look, I don't agree, but I would say, look, we've got 76 seats out of 151 in the House of Representatives, and one of those seats is in the Speaker's chair. It's always difficult to get legislation through, but we're getting on with the business of governing. It doesn't mean it doesn't take a few attempts sometimes, but, we're committed to doing what we've set out to achieve.
Dave, you mentioned the Speaker's chair. There's a new Speaker in the House this week. He's got big shoes to fill, and he's had a baptism of fire. You seem like a decent bloke, Dave. Can you have a chat to your mates just to cut in some slack for the rest of the week? It's nearly Christmas, Dave.
Look, whoever went into that role, and Andrew Wallace is a good guy and well qualified to be the Speaker, but you've got big shoes to fill and everyone throws everything at the new guy, right? And this is what's happening to poor old Andrew. And I think he's done a great job getting through it. But, yeah, it's certainly been a baptism of fire. It's a tough job.
I've got money on somebody releasing a stink bomb in there tomorrow night. Seriously, it's full on. Be hands on head soon.
Dave Sharma, we wish you well with whatever happens to be going on this week and beyond.
Great to join you.